The stars over Earth had always seemed like distant, indifferent eyes, watching quietly as humans built their fragile empires. But tonight, there was a tension in the void, a shiver through the cosmos that even the most experienced astronomers could feel. Satellites, trained on the dark edges of the solar system, began to pick up faint, irregular transmissions, patterns too sophisticated to be natural. The messages were simple but chilling: weakness observed, submission expected. On a quiet ridge in northern Colorado, Lieutenant Jackson Reed, a career officer in the United Earth Defense Fleet, stared at the streaks of light flickering across the monitors of the temporary orbital command station. Beside him, Dr. Evelyn Hart, a leading xenolinguist and cryptographer, furrowed her brow. Her fingers danced across a console, attempting to decode the alien patterns. "Jackson, they're not just observing us," she whispered, voice tight. "They're analyzing everything: military patterns, resource distribution, even social behavior. They think they can predict us. And they think we're weak." Jackson leaned back, the hard lines of his face set against the glow of the holographic displays. "They're wrong," he said quietly, but the weight of the statement was heavier than his words. Humanity had survived plagues, wars, and centuries of self-doubt. But this was something different. The stars themselves seemed to bristle with the threat. Across the Atlantic, on a carrier docked off the coast of Virginia, Captain Laura Simmons paced the deck. The hum of the ship's engines was a low, vibrating reminder that Earth's fleet, while formidable, had never faced anything beyond the solar system. She clenched her fists, feeling the gravity of her responsibility. Every pilot, every gunner, every engineer under her command was depending on her to guide them through the unknown. By nightfall, the skies were full of more than satellites and passing comets. Alien vessels, sleek and impossibly large, appeared in Earth's orbit, shimmering with a metallic luster that made human technology look like children's toys. They hung there silently, a statement of confidence, an assertion that this world was theirs to judge. From the command deck, General Marcus Reynolds, the architect of Earth's global defense strategy, addressed his officers. "They believe we are weak," he said, his voice resonating through the chamber. "Let me be clear, we are not. Humanity may not have fought in the stars before, but we have fought everywhere else. And now, the stars will bear witness to our fury." Across the globe, ordinary citizens looked up at the sky with fear and fascination. Social media and news broadcasts were flooded with images of the alien fleet, and panic rippled through cities. Markets plummeted, governments convened emergency councils, and families huddled in basements and shelters. Yet, amidst the fear, there was also a spark, a stubborn flame that refused to be extinguished. Humanity had always been underestimated. And time and again, it had risen. In a lab beneath the Rockies, Dr. Hart activated the newly constructed quantum communication array, a device that could potentially reach out across the void faster than light. Her hands trembled as she entered a sequence designed to project Earth's presence to the alien observers, not just as a planet of farmers and engineers, but as a species capable of destruction, ingenuity, and resilience. Jackson stood beside her, voice calm but resolute. "It's not enough to respond," he said. "We have to make them understand. We have to show them what humanity looks like when cornered." Outside, the alien ships maintained their silence. Their sensors scanned, catalogued, and predicted. They had made their judgment, and it was scornful. Yet, somewhere in the stars, they had not anticipated the storm that was brewing below, the storm of human ingenuity, courage, and unyielding spirit. By dawn, Earth's response was taking shape. Fleets were mobilized, orbital defense platforms powered up, and underground facilities hummed with activity. Pilots like Ethan Harper and Maya Chen, young yet fiercely skilled, prepared for a fight they had only ever dreamed of. Engineers, scientists, and strategists worked tirelessly, converting experimental prototypes into weapons capable of leveling cities in space and bending physics to their will. The first shot fired, however, would not be a weapon, it would be a message. Jackson and Dr. Hart coordinated the launch of a reconnaissance drone, small and nearly invisible, carrying the quantum array's signal. It streaked into the void, broadcasting humanity's essence, resilience, intelligence, and an unshakable refusal to bow. For hours, the alien fleet scanned, analyzed, and paused. Then, a ripple of change moved through their formation. Patterns shifted. Their glowing hulls pulsed with curiosity and calculation. And somewhere deep within their command hierarchy, the first seeds of doubt were sown. Jackson and Hart watched, holding their breath. The storm had begun. "Humanity isn't weak," Jackson said softly, more to himself than anyone else. "They're about to find out why." And somewhere, in the cold black expanse between stars, a decision was being made, an underestimation that would cost the alien invaders far more than they had imagined. The stage was set. The storm was coming. And Earth, for the first time in history, was about to strike with the fury that had been simmering for millennia. The alien fleet, once silent and imposing, now shimmered with movement, a subtle, calculated dance that betrayed their surprise. Earth's reconnaissance drone had barely returned to the void when the first tactical commands flowed across human channels. Every command post, every fleet vessel, every orbital cannon hummed to life, synchronized as if a single mind guided them. Captain Laura Simmons stood at the helm of the USS Liberty, a colossal Earth cruiser. Her eyes scanned the alien formations through augmented reality displays. "They're reacting," she muttered, her voice steady but charged with adrenaline. "They didn't expect us to fight back this fast. Keep the squadrons ready. Wait for my mark." In the cockpit of a nearby fighter, Ethan Harper gripped his controls, knuckles white. He and Maya Chen, his wing partner, exchanged a brief nod, the silent acknowledgement of comrades who had trained together, who would face death together, and who understood the stakes better than anyone else. Above them, alien warships hovered like predatory whales, their geometry impossible, their weapons' hums vibrating across space itself. Dr. Evelyn Hart monitored communications from the orbital command station. Her holographic interface showed streams of alien data, now scrambled and conflicted. The quantum signal they had sent was not merely a message, it was a challenge, a pulse that forced the aliens to re-evaluate their assumptions about human potential. Jackson Reed entered the command deck, eyes sharp. "They underestimated us. Every maneuver they make now is cautious. Hesitant. That's when we strike." His tone carried the weight of someone who had witnessed countless wars, but none like this. "Laura, you have the lead. Hit their forward lines. We'll support with orbital cannons." The first salvo was not one of mercy, it was precision incarnate. Earth's orbital defenses unleashed a storm of kinetic projectiles and energy pulses, streaking toward the alien fleet with deadly speed. Alien shields flared, absorbing the brunt of the assault, but the disruption was immediate. Communications between their vessels stuttered, coordination faltered. For the first time, the invaders faced a reality they hadn't predicted: humanity could fight, and fight with ingenuity beyond calculation. On the surface, news broadcasts tried to capture the moment, though mere images could not convey the full scale. Across New York, London, Tokyo, and Sydney, people watched in awe as Earth's defenses projected beams of light into the void, striking ships that had once seemed untouchable. Fear mingled with pride. This was not mere survival, this was defiance. Inside the USS Liberty, Captain Simmons barked orders, her voice cutting through the hum of machinery. "Harper, Chen, flank their command node. Take out their sensors. Disrupt their network. Now." Ethan and Maya's fighters launched into the void, weaving between alien energy arcs, dodging blasts that could obliterate them instantly. Their training, reflexes, and unspoken coordination allowed them to slip past barriers that would have destroyed any less experienced pilots. With precision strikes, they disabled key sensor arrays, leaving portions of the alien fleet blind. Meanwhile, Dr. Hart initiated a secondary protocol, releasing pulses of hacked alien code into their network. The alien vessels, highly advanced but rigid in their logic, began to experience cascading errors. Weapon systems locked, propulsion arrays faltered, and formations broke apart. Jackson watched, a grim satisfaction in his eyes. "It's working. They thought we were weak. They thought they understood us." But the alien commanders were not easily defeated. Slowly, methodically, they adapted, their weapons recalibrating, their shields flexing in patterns previously unseen. The void of space became a theater of chaos and brilliance, Earth's fury meeting alien precision in a deadly ballet. In the heat of battle, personal moments of heroism emerged. Lieutenant Sarah Delgado, stationed aboard the orbital defense platform over the Pacific,
directed a concentrated plasma volley to intercept a flanking alien destroyer.
Her hands shook, but her aim was true. Explosions lit the darkness as she whispered, almost to herself, "For Earth, for humanity." Jackson and Hart coordinated every move from the command station, their partnership a blend of strategy and intuition.
"Adjust the trajectory of the Omega cannons," Hart instructed, her voice taut with focus. "Target the mothership's forward hull. If we cripple that, the rest of their formation will collapse."
The human assault intensified.
Orbital cannons carved arcs of fire through space. Fighter squadrons darted in and out of alien flares.
The mothership, colossal and terrifying, shuddered under the precision strikes. Alien sensors attempted to predict Earth's movements, but every tactic meant an unexpected counter. Humanity had become unpredictable, a storm that refused to be measured. Captain Simmons gritted her teeth as she watched the alien flagship falter.
"We've got them on the ropes," she said. "Keep pushing. No mercy."
The aliens responded with desperation, their weapons now targeting civilian orbitals and satellites.
Jackson's jaw tightened.
"They want to scare us.
They think fear will break us."
His voice hardened.
"They're wrong."
A synchronized counterstrike launched from Earth's planetary defense grid, combining kinetic bombardment and electromagnetic pulses. Alien ships erupted into cascading arcs of fire. Smaller fighters plummeted into the void in twisted spirals. Even the largest vessels began to falter, their shields failing against the relentless ingenuity and resolve of human minds.
Through the chaos, Ethan Harper and Maya Chen executed a daring maneuver, diving directly into the alien mothership's flank.
Guided missiles streaked past energy barriers, impacting the hull with explosions that rippled through space. From the mothership's perspective, Earth's forces were nothing short of a revelation. Humans were chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly relentless. Dr. Hart's voice crackled through the calms.
"They're adapting, but not fast enough. Their calculations cannot match human unpredictability. Jackson, now is our chance."
Jackson nodded, issuing the command that would define the battle.
The full force of Earth's combined fleets, cruisers, fighters, orbital cannons, focused on the alien flagship.
Energy beams intersected with explosions, light flaring across the void as the vessel began to fracture under the relentless assault.
Captain Simmons' voice rang out, triumphant yet grim. "We hit the motherlode. All units, target remaining vessels. Finish this."
In that moment, across the endless blackness of space, the alien fleet wavered, hesitation spreading like wildfire. They had believed themselves invincible, their assessment of humanity flawless. But they had not accounted for the storm, the fury born of millennia of survival, ingenuity, and sheer, unbreakable will.
Below, on Earth, the world held its breath. The first wave of victory was visible even from the surface, streaks of destruction painting the skies above Earth's orbit.
Humanity had struck back, not as victims, but as a force capable of toppling the impossible. And as Jackson Reed looked at the unfolding chaos, he allowed himself a brief, rare smile. "They thought we were weak," he murmured. "They thought they could scare us into submission.
But this is only the beginning." The storm of humanity's fury had been unleashed, and it would not rest until Earth's message was clear: underestimate us at your own peril. The void above Earth had become a battlefield unlike any other in the history of the galaxy. Alien vessels, once symbols of omnipotence, now drifted in twisted spirals, shattered by the ingenuity and ferocity of human strategy. But even as Earth celebrated early victories, Jackson Reed knew the fight was far from over. From the orbital command station, he watched through augmented displays as alien warships regrouped. Their formation was fractured, but their sheer numbers remained daunting. Every pulse of energy from their weapons reminded humanity that the enemy had not yet surrendered, that the storm of fury had only just begun. "Marcus," Jackson called, turning toward General Marcus Reynolds, who was monitoring Earth's global defenses. "They're coordinating for a full-scale counterattack. We need to strike before they recalibrate." Reynolds' face, usually calm and authoritative, was set in grim determination. "Then we give them everything. Every ounce of our fleet. Every prototype. Every mind."
Humanity does not flinch.
Below, Earth's citizens watched the sky with a mixture of terror and awe. Social networks and news feeds were flooded with live feeds from orbital cameras, flares of plasma, massive explosions, and the glint of Earth's weapons tearing through alien hulls. In New York, Sarah Delgado stood atop a collapsed observation tower, staring at the streaking light above, feeling an electric surge of pride. "We are alive," she whispered, voice trembling. "And we fight like no one ever imagined." Captain Laura Simmons barked commands aboard the USS Liberty, directing the converging fleets with precision. "Harper! Chun! Take point on the flagship. I want the main engines down before they can even blink." Ethan Harper and Maya Chen, side by side in their fighters, gritted their teeth as they maneuvered through a rain of energy blasts. The alien flagship loomed like a shadow against the black, its surface rippling with alien defenses. But they had learned its weaknesses, exploiting gaps in its calculations and predicting its adjustments with human intuition, something no machine, no matter how advanced, could perfectly anticipate. Dr. Evelyn Hart's voice cut through the comms, calm and sharp. "Jackson, the Omega cannons are ready. This is the moment. One strike at their core and we destabilize their entire formation. Make it count." Jackson nodded. "Do it. All units, focus fire." A deafening roar filled the orbital command station as the Omega cannons unleashed beams of concentrated energy, slicing through alien armor like it was paper. The flagship shuddered violently, explosions rippling along its hull, while secondary vessels faltered under the precision of coordinated attacks. On the front lines, Ethan and Maya executed a daring maneuver, skimming past plasma arcs and slicing through enemy sensors to deploy EMP warheads directly onto the flagship's engines. Sparks and flares erupted, and for the first time, the massive vessel shuddered uncontrollably, losing stability in the zero-gravity expanse. Captain Simmons' voice rose over the comms, fierce and resolute. "All units, converge on the flagship. This ends now." In the alien command center, flickering holograms revealed the devastating truth: their calculated superiority had failed. Predictions had been wrong. Humanity's unpredictability, their unity, their courage, it was a force beyond the alien intellect's comprehension. Jackson leaned forward, eyes fixed on the displays. "They didn't just underestimate us, they insulted us. They thought we were weak. But we are the storm they cannot weather." The alien fleet's response was chaotic, desperate. Ships fired indiscriminately, energy arcs colliding and cascading into each other. The flagship, crippled, began to break apart, fragments scattering like deadly shrapnel across the void. Earth's fighters weaved through the debris, striking with precision, leaving no room for recovery. In the chaos, personal heroism shone as brightly as any weapon. Lieutenant Sarah Delgado, piloting a lone interceptor, rammed her craft into a weapon array threatening a civilian orbital station, sacrificing herself to save millions. Across the fleet, engineers and pilots performed acts of courage and ingenuity that no algorithm could have predicted. Finally, with a resonating boom that echoed even through Earth's orbital sensors, the alien flagship erupted in a brilliant flash, fragments scattering across the void. The remaining alien vessels, now leaderless and disoriented, began to retreat, their precision shattered, their confidence destroyed. Captain Simmons exhaled sharply. "They're pulling back. It's over, for now." On Earth, a collective sigh of relief swept across the globe. From the ruins of cities and shelters to the bustling command centers, humanity celebrated the first major victory in what would be remembered as the Battle of the Storm. People embraced, cried, and cheered, but amidst the celebration, a sober understanding lingered: this was only the beginning. Jackson Reed stood before the command station windows, looking out into the void, his reflection a reminder of humanity's resilience. Beside him, Dr. Hart placed a hand on his shoulder. "We've shown them what we are capable of," she said quietly. "But we must remain vigilant. They will return." Jackson nodded, the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. "Let them come. Humanity will be ready. We survived plague, war, famine, and ignorance. And now, the stars themselves have learned our fury." Captain Simmons, surveying her battered but victorious fleet, spoke into her comms, her voice carrying the authority and pride of a species that had refused to be subjugated. Report to Earth Command, humanity stands. Not as victims. Not as weaklings. But as a storm that will never be contained. And in the vast, silent reaches of space, the alien invaders, once arrogant and confident, retreated, carrying a lesson written not in words, but in fire and brilliance. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. The storm of Earth's fury had passed through the void, leaving scars on the alien fleet and echoes across the cosmos. But more importantly, it left a message that would resonate for generations. Humanity, once dismissed as weak, had risen not with malice, but with unyielding strength, ingenuity, and a spirit that refused to bow. The war was far from over. But for the first time, Earth and all of humanity had proven that when cornered, when challenged, they would answer with a storm the universe could never forget.